The human chair. People made out of chairs. I'm just going to interpret that literally. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to more no Shoujo, or more fucking crazy murder, mystery, insanity. Where we last left off, I think there was... what happened? I think we were getting close to finding the murderer, or we're at least close to finding out who they might be. That's right, yeah, we found out that Kusaka was probably involved in all this. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but you guys are going to find out why I don't like Kusaka too much. And I mean, it's not a spoiler because now you know he's probably involved, at least, because he's related to Nishizono Yui. So yeah, we're gonna see what's up with that. Kusaka, that motherfucker's gonna show up for school today, and we're about to grill his ass. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped for it. We're gonna fucking interrogate him. Good cop, bad cop. Well, I'm off. Yukari calls out to me, dressed in her uniform. Alright, be careful. Nissan, are you going to visit Yukiko? Oh, that's right, we gotta visit our wife's grave first, before we get back to our detective work. You know, I would think that getting somebody who's at least a suspect in this could kind of take a priority here. But really, he's just a person of interest, though. I mean, you could make the argument like, okay, well, we don't have any real evidence that connects him to all of this. You just have like a potential, like a connection. That's kind of reason enough to be suspicious of him. Yeah, sorry, Yukari, but this year. I understand. You're going by yourself, right? Sorry. I just need to do this alone. Don't worry about it. I'll go visit her later. So long. Yukari leaves. I'd best get going as well. Yeah, how fun. Let's visit our wife's grave. I leave the house and set off for Kichijoji. I buy some chrysanthemums from the florist in front of the station, as well as some incense from the Buddhist supply shop. On my way, I see a lot of girls wearing Opa Girls Academy uniforms amongst the foot traffic, but none of them seem to notice me. Even if they did, they'd probably ignore me and just pass by. From an outsider's viewpoint, they're still the same as always. All those girls who will be informed of Orihime's death today. Oh, that's right, they don't know yet. They'll probably be grief-stricken when they hear about it. I wonder if the school even has regulations against crying. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's just the same as usual. We're just going to be completely silent, because that's normal. After crossing over the tracks and walking for a while, I finally come to a temple cemetery in Mitaka. I felt someone's eyes on me ever since Kichijoji Station. I had wanted to make this visit alone, but... Why don't you come out, Toko? Oh, I should have figured it was her. Oh, so you did notice me. Why does she stalk you all the time? Toko is spying on me from between the gravestones, and looking not the least bit ashamed of doing so. She never looks ashamed. I don't think I've ever seen her get, like, particularly emotional about something. She just always seems... She seems sort of like, nah, whatever. That's kind of how she always comes off to me. It's just like, yeah, so that happened. You know, I did that. I don't really care. I saw you buy those flowers and stuff, so I wondered where you were headed. There's only one place people go with chrysanthemums. I'm never gonna fucking make that, pronounce that right the first time. Chrysanthemums. What if you were going to a chrysanthemum doll exhibition or something? Yeah, that seems like something he would do. Yeah, right. Good grief, I should be angry, or at least indignant, but I can't even manage that. I was just kidding. May I visit her with you? Sure, she'd probably appreciate something a little more lively. It's typically just me, after all. Yukiko-san, was it? Toko walks at my side, looking up at my face. Yeah, here we are. We've reached her grave. The mark has already been cleaned, and there are flowers arranged there. I guess Kyoko came by earlier. I had the chrysanthemums I brought to the bouquet. Huh? But this grave, it says Tokisaka family on it. It's our family's plot. You were married? Nope. Well, he was about to get married. I crouched down and light the incense. Her family didn't want a headless corpse buried in their plot. Oof. That's kinda rough. Toko gasps. Ignoring her, I put my hands together in respect. it's already been 6 years. This town and the people in it have changed a lot since then. I've changed too. I changed my job and also my way of life. I couldn't help but change. If I hadn't changed, it would have been the end of me, considering the state I was in. That's why I changed. Even so, you haven't changed at all. Yukiko, buried deep beneath here, is just as she was 6 years ago. Oh, except for not having a head. She hasn't... Oh, I just ruined it. I ruined it, didn't I? It was supposed to be all emotional and sad, and then it's like, well... she shouldn't have lost her head, you know. She hasn't changed a bit since that abominable case. Flashback time? Again? In the opening weeks of 1950, a pregnant woman was murdered. She was strangled, her abdomen was sliced open and the fetus dragged out, and her body was left gruesomely crucified in the manner of Christ. Ugh. Ugh. What is with these murderers and, like, and the killing of, well... okay, well, with this one, it's taking out girls' uteruses, and then with this, it's like, the killing of pregnant women and taking their fetuses. Jesus fucking Christ. That's just, I mean, I know in real life there are fucking people who are about as fucked up as this, but, yeah, God, that's disgusting. At that time, I was a member of the Ueno Police Department's Detective Division, and investigated the murder along with my co-workers Ozomi and Takashiro. The victim was an unlicensed prostitute working near Ueno. The killer's ghastly modus operandi resembled the Tamanoi dismemberment murder that occurred before the war, and the investigation was extremely rough going. At first, we thought that the killer was a man who'd slept with her, given her occupation and location. The police also used that as the basis of their investigation. However, there were too many suspects to count. Many of them couldn't be located, and narrowing such a large search down to a few suspects was impossible. And so, when we spent our time searching in vain, the death toll rose. You tired? Yukiko's voice jolts me back to my senses. Huh? Nah, not at all. You looked sleepy just now. Snuggled up against me inside the futon, Yukiko pokes at my cheek. Yukiko, your body feels nice. It's so warm. I know where this is going. I embrace her. Come on, trying to trick me again? The heat of her breath tickles my face. Okay, so it's time to skip. It's time to skip, boys. Time to skip. Okay, so they had sex and it didn't last very long. That's fine with me. I don't even know what she's responding to. Whatever, it's not a big deal. I reach out with my hand and pull a small package from my bag near the bedside. This is for you. Okay, this is the important part, I think. I put it on her hand, just like that. Wow, this is how he proposes, I guess. What is it? Her eyes are full of curiosity, yet full of anticipation as well. This is so embarrassing. Open it up and take a look. Okay. Her slender fingers break the seal on the paper. As she sees what's inside, she lets out a small gasp. Marry me, Yukiko. I lay my hand over the ring, muster up my courage, and say it. I'm so glad. Yukiko looks up at me. I'm glad I made you go first, Reiji. Well, he kinda did it himself. A single tear spills out of the corner of her eye and falls onto my chest. Are you okay with it? Yes, of course. Now we'll always be together. Hey, it's not gonna take long for that to just kind of backfire on you. While snuggled together, I slide the silver band onto the ring finger of her left hand. It's kinda small. Did you cheap out on me, Yuji, you piece of shit? Despite her words, she holds her hand up in the moonlight, clearly satisfied. So what did you want to say, Yukiko? The same thing as me? No, not exactly. She takes my hand in her left, the ring glinting in the pale light, and guides it to her abdomen. There's a new life growing in here. Oh, well, way to make it even worse. Are you serious? I wouldn't joke about something like this. She pouts slightly. So, she's really... Hey, isn't it a good thing that you went first? This way we're properly engaged beforehand, after all. I've been planning to do that for a long time, you know. I know. Yukiko laughs. I went to the hospital today, and then my doctor, Dr. Rokushiki, congratulated me. This just way to punch you in the gut, game. Thanks for that. At that time, if only I'd known about him then. Yeah, they were called the Rokushiki murder cases, so... And he's her doctor. I think you all know where this is headed. Yukiko looks up at me from the futon as I put my arm through the sleeve of my shirt. What is it? Nothing at all. Yukiko laughs while replying. Is today a busy day for you? Looks that way. I might have to stay overnight. I see. Yukiko gets up and puts on a coat. Could you look after Yukari for me? Sure, that's no problem. Oh, your tie's crooked. Yukiko's hand reaches toward my neck. There we go. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Okay. Have a safe trip, Reiji.
And that was the last time I saw her.
Ah, so that's where it was. Yukiko pulls her head out of the closet and holds up a small box. Did you find something? I look up in the midst of sorting my books. Yeah, it's some fragments of stoneware I found while I was doing excavation work at Kyosho. Why do we have stuff like that here? Did you forget? I gave them to you because you said you wanted them, Reiji. Yukiko pouts. Really? Why did you have to forget? She opens the box. Inside, some obsidian shards are wrapped in cotton. Ah, now I remember. I did say something like that. So you finally remember. Is it dragon glass? Can it be used to kill the White Walkers? Say, isn't just possessing things like this illegal? Yeah, the king won't allow you any possession of obsidian weapons. And if it is, what are you going to do about it, Mr. Policeman? Well, I suppose we're past the statute of limitations. Gonna have to take you in for questioning, ma'am. Can't be harboring, obsidian weaponry. Not in my kingdom. What do you think Ozumi-kun would say in this situation? He'd tell me to bury them back in the original location. Yeah, I suppose. Even though you both became cops, you're like polar opposites. Ozumi seems just always really stern in business. Like, he's just all business all the time. He's hardly ever just kind of joking around about anything. Well, of course, you'd think I want to be lumped in with that uptight blockhead. Back then, we were all just happy to goof around. Those were the good old days. What, are they like high school friends or something? Hey. Sex scenes again? Lying next to me, Yukiko suddenly speaks up. What's wrong? Can't sleep? Yeah. Yukiko grabs my hand. Have you thought of a name for our child? My hand brushes against her abdomen. I can feel the warmth through her clothes. We don't know whether it's going to be a boy or a girl, right? We can't decide a name yet. Then why not think of a name for both? That's easy for you to say, but it still hasn't really sunk in yet. Ouch! Fingernails dig into the back of my hand. Be serious about it. It hasn't sunk in for me yet either. But it really is in here, right? I told you about what happened when I was born, right? Yukiko's voice is soft. Yeah. When she was born, it was an exceptionally difficult delivery. Because of that, her mother died during childbirth. Yeah. Jesus, fuck. It's like, okay, the writer's thinking, how can I make this even more depressing? I got it. So not only is the murderer that kills pregnant women working on, or seeing Reiji's fiance, but she was also born when her mother died when she was giving birth. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Yeah, if you're not okay with, like, depressing stuff and just, you know, being beat over the head with depression, you're not gonna like this game too much. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Yukiko was born premature. Her status quite dire. Ugh, that too. Will I be alright? Oh, don't ask that question. Don't ask that fucking question. Not in this game. As Yukiko mutters, half to herself, she gives off an aura of helplessness. You'll be fine. Famous last words. I hold her close and stroke her head. I'll be there with you, so there's nothing to worry about. Reiji, believe in me. We'll lead a happy life. All three of us, okay?
So you think.
Yeah, thanks. I feel better. Yukiko clasps my hand. I gently squeeze her hand in response, as if reassuring myself of the ring's presence. I thought that was going to lead to a sex scene again. This has ended up being a fairly lengthy flashback. March came. The killing spree had claimed 5 victims, and the police were desperately searching for the location of a killer they knew absolutely nothing about. Every one of the victims was a pregnant woman. As the investigation progressed, we learned that all the victims had worried about their deliveries. Prostitutes, widows, those from impoverished families, people whose circumstances meant that raising a child would be harsh. They had thought about abortions. Well, I thought especially a prostitute would think about abortions. And their corpses, crucified and abandoned. It seemed like it had some fanatical purpose, so we thoroughly investigated Christians within the town, but couldn't find the killer. I don't know if you'll find many Christians in Japan. And then, in mid-March, Yukiko vanished. Oh, well, that just escalated really fucking quickly. It was ridiculous. Yukiko had never thought about getting an abortion. We were going to build a happy family together. We swore that together. We did, but I remember Yukiko's anxieties. No, even so, to consider abortion, I searched for the doctor who had examined her, but he was nowhere to be found. Dr. Rokushiki Makoto, a self-proclaimed midwife with no clinic of his own. He didn't even have a doctor's license. He was a quack, and by no means a registered midwife. Still, his lack of credentials belied his skill. He worked in a number of large hospitals. Man, how the hell did they not know about this? There were a lot of doctors like him in the chaos that ensued after the war. I guess maybe because of that. They didn't really care to investigate these people. The police immediately put Rokushiki Makoto on the National Most Wanted list. They predicted that the series of murders was his work. Without a shadow of a doubt. We assembled every scrap of information we could, but Rokushiki remained elusive. There was nothing. No family register, no personal history, not even a photograph of his face. All we knew, all that existed, was his name. And then, on the morning of March 17th, 1950, a package was delivered to my house. Inside that tiny box was Yukiko's left hand, grasping a single lily. That slightly undersized ring on her finger gleamed dully. Wow. Jesus fucking Christ. And then, on that very same day, Yukiko was found. However, I didn't realize that it was her, not immediately. Holy fucking shit. And she's being eaten by birds. It was a cross, dumped in a ditch. The corpse crucified there was missing its left hand and head. Phew. I think that's enough of that. Neither of us speaks until we reach Inokashira Park. Toko walks along in front of me, keeping a leisurely pace. I wonder if he told her about any of this. I follow along behind her. I mean, I'm pretty sure she might have asked, like, how she died. Do you regret it? Regret what? Oh, he did. Oh, Jesus, fuck. Telling me about Yukiko-san? Why would you think that? Because your face looks really sad, Tokisaka-san. Toko faces me. I can't say I fucking blame him. Jesus Christ. God damn, that's just incredibly brutal. Are you lonely? It's been 6 years. I trail off in mid-sentence. How many times has she asked me this? Well, I guess I probably was. You were lonely? I guess I should say I tried to forget about it. But even when I try to focus on something else, the memories come flooding back. Did I bring back bad memories? No, you made me remember the good times. Huh? No matter how hard I try to deny it, I can't change what's happened. In fact, I lost sight of what's most important. That's right. The recent killings are uncannily similar to the ones from before. I knew you were strong, Tokisaka-san. I'm always averting my eyes from what's important to me, but even so. Toko levelly meets my gaze. Didn't I say it before? You and I, we're the same. As Toko mutters that phrase again, softly, her voice like the chiming of a bell. I'm not talking about feelings or fondness or hatred. I don't think anyone loves me. That's why fondness and hatred don't suit us. Toko? No, they don't. Toko sits down on the bench, never making a sound. I thought I understood what those emotions meant, but those words could never begin to describe the feelings I hold for you. Toko shifts her gaze over to me. Oh, man. So this is gonna start to get weird. But one thing I know for certain. I need you, Tokisaka-san. I seat myself next to her. Because we're the same. Because we're the same. If we put together everything we lack, then surely... I don't want to hear what she's about to say. I embrace Toko's slender body. Well, now you've crossed the line, sir. Don't say that nobody loves you. It's not true. Tokisaka-san, you're not allowed to love me. I never asked you to do that. Toko stubbornly protests. If I had to choose between fondness and loathing, of course I'd choose fondness. But even so, we can't let some vague emotion like love pass between us. We're weaklings. Toko's fingers brush against my cheek. And because we're weaklings, we can't indulge in something like love. Oh, God. Well, I knew this was going to come up. Well, we have to choose this option if we're going through her route, which is the true route of the game, or the only route, really, of this game. So we're going to have to fuck our student. Good job, Reiji. You are truly a model teacher. I cover Toko's lips with mine. Toko reacts with a momentary surprise, but soon relaxes. Okay. Time to fucking skip. It's time to skip. Well, maybe not yet. It's just a kiss. We don't move much. Time passes quietly by. I said that we couldn't indulge in love, didn't I? She mutters to me after our lips part, her eyes slightly moist. We're not indulging. Aren't weaklings supposed to cling together? If we're together, then when we're apart, won't we become even weaker? This time, it is Toko's lips that seek out my own. Oh, God. This is escalating. Our kisses grow gradually more forceful. Okay, time to fucking skip. Time to skip. It's skip time. Okay, so maybe that's over? Are you okay? Yeah, that was intense. Yeah, we had sex in the park where everybody could see. Like, okay, this confuses me most of all. Out of everything in this fucking game, well, maybe not most of all, but one of the things that's the most confusing in this game, it's like, why the hell would you have sex in the middle of a park? A public park, especially a park in Tokyo, like a big major city where there's probably going to be people walking around all day, every day. Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's like, what possessed you to do this? She reaches behind herself and grabs hold of my flaccid... Okay. I almost read all of that. Fuck this. We're done. We're skipping again. Okay, so I skipped a little bit too much. And basically, Tokisaka went back to his office. So, yeah, they fucked, and Tokisaka's now back at his office. That's basically what happened. You didn't miss anything. After seeing Toko home safely, I took the train back to my office in Shinjuku. We can't indulge ourselves in love, huh? Well, we certainly don't have the time to indulge ourselves. Man, he spent all day, like, just talking about the past with Toko, spending time with Toko, fucking Toko, and then going back to his office. And it's like, oh yeah, maybe I was supposed to do something about that investigation. There are still things I have to think over. I opened the letter left in my mailbox. Okay, well now he's gonna play play the detective. There's no stamp. This must be from Natsume-san. Shinjuku is pretty far out of her way, so she probably made her little sister deliver it. Inside is the analysis I requested on the scrap from the book. It looks like the blood is a perfect match with Tsukishima Orihime's, and apparently they also detected fingerprints. One set from an adult male, and one from a female. The female's fingerprints are unmistakably Orihime's. The other is unknown. I look at the scrap enclosed in the letter. I remember seeing it somewhere. If it's from a book, there's only one possibility. I flip through my notebook. I'm going to go ahead and guess it's going to be the Egg of Neonis. And I'm right about that. Okay, so the Egg of Neonis. I take out the copy of the Egg of Neonis that I bought yesterday. That's right, the flap of this cover. Matches perfectly. It's a spot-on match with the torn fragment. Why was this on Horihime's body? The copy in her room wasn't ripped like this. Could it be from one owned by the killer? Then if we find the book this fragment came from, we got our murderer. An adult male, huh? The phone rings. There are only a few people who'd call me at this hour. Hello? So there you are. It's Ozumi. You ass. At least tell Yukari-chan where you're going. She's worried about you, you know? Yeah, sorry about that. So what do you want? I got in touch with all the victims' families. It turns out they all owned that book. I see. With this, we found the common link between all the victims. Now all that's left is to have the police ready. Well, at least make sure you're ready to move out at any time. You've got a suspect? Yeah, it'll all be perfectly clear by tomorrow. This is going to be a long night. Got it. Just say the word. I set down the receiver. Well then, let's think it over. Who was the victim in the very first murder? The dismembered corpse in Inokashira Park. I flipped through my notebook. Fuck, who was that again? I actually also forgot. Yeah, that's right, it was Nishizono Yui. If I can find her in here. Nishizono Yui. The fingerprints from the corpse were Nishizono Yui's. However, didn't Natsume-san say that the head belonged to Imamura Haruka? In other words, they mixed together parts from two different people. They dumped Nishizono Yui's arms and Imamura Haruka's head and legs. It looked like one victim, but it was actually two. Furthermore, the victims in this case have something in common, and that is... they're members of the Schisma. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, they're members of the Schisma. Or members of Schisma. That's right, the girls referred to themselves as Schisma. What kind of organization was it? Prostitution ring. A prostitution ring made up of students. And who was controlling them all? Probably this person. It was, who was it again? It was Orihime. I think it was Orihime. No, that's... wow. No, okay, no, yeah, that's right, it was... I was about to say, I was like, wait, it couldn't have been this person. Tsukishima Orihime. It's her, Tsukishima Orihime. It's clear from the evidence. The corpses of the Schisma members were chopped up in the same manner as described in... it was probably the Egg of Neonis again. Yep, the Egg of Neonis. That's right, they're based on Katsuragi Shin's The Egg of Neonis. They're similar to Dante's Divine, but the definitive difference is the presence of the broken shell from the Black Egg. If that's the case, then this is the most important thing. Just who in the world carried out this series of murders? I think it's him, but... okay, so I think this is where we're gonna have our man. Where the fuck are you, you piece of shit? Oh, there he is. Kusaka. Kusaka Tatsuhiko. Dr. Saito said that he is Nishizono Yui's brother. That's a pretty close connection. Only thing is, he's never seemed particularly distressed by the fact that she's missing. Granted, I didn't meet him until a while after her disappearance. Still, something about the whole affair strikes me as off. Nobody involved with the search or the school even knew that he was her brother. Wouldn't you normally tell them something like that? Wouldn't he be desperately pleading with them to search for her? At the very least, that's what I would do. And if he didn't, then, whether she's dead or alive, he knows where she is. He's the most suspicious one of all, but as a teacher of the academy, his connection to the other victims seems somewhat weak. I wonder if there's something... okay, like, what? I fucking hate this part. It's like, I wonder if there's something. It's like, what? You haven't fucking told me anything. Okay, so this is where we're going to... that other piece of evidence is going to come into play. It was a torn-off scrap of something. There we go, torn-off scrap of something. The scrap from the Egg of Neonis slipped into Orihime's uniform. If he has a copy of that book with a ripped cover, if we could conclude that the fingerprints are his. Go talk with Kusaka at his home, search for Kusaka's fingerprints at the academy. Yeah, I think it's obviously the best thing to do would be to go to actually talk with him. Let's go to his house. Late as it is, he won't be at the academy. He's probably at his home, but I remember that Vice Principal Seiki gave me a faculty directory when I first accepted his request. I pull it out and check. Igikubo, huh? It's kind of far away. I'll have to either contact Uzumi and have him send a car over, or call for a taxi. Alright, I guess we're gonna call for a taxi. The last thing I want is to create a stir by showing up in a patrol car. If he suspects something's up, then we'll lose everything. I've got no choice but to pay for a taxi. At this hour, there should still be empty taxis out in front of the station. I put on my coat and step out onto the chilly streets. When we get near Kusaka's listed address, I pay the cabbie my fare and continue on foot. In the gloom, I have to rely on the address book to find his residence. At last, I find his apartment. There are no lights on. The place looks empty. Is he out? I go up to the entryway and knock on the door several times. There's no response from inside. Kusaka-sensei, it's me, Tokisaka. Even introducing myself doesn't yield any results. I put my hand on the doorknob. It turns easily. Uh-oh. This is probably not a good sign. This is a stroke of luck. If I look, I might turn up something useful. Of course, breaking and entering is still against the law, last I checked. Good thing I didn't contact Ozumi. There's not a chance in hell he'd let me enter illegally. As stealthily as possible, I slip inside the house. Just as I thought, Kusaka's nowhere to be seen. I wonder where he went off this late at night. I better make this quick. if Kusaka comes back while I'm inside, there's gonna be hell to pay. Well, now, I pull on some gloves and take stock of the room. Oh, man. Alright, so this is the investigation part. What should we do here? The small notebook on top of the second shelf from the bottom. Second shelf from the bottom. I investigate the books lined up on the shelves. It looks like they're all books dealing with education, so he's fired up about teaching. I flip through them, but don't turn up anything of note. It said the second shelf from the bottom. It has to be this shelf, right? Other books strike me as strange. No, it can't. I step back and look over the bookshelf. If there's anything, I think it'll be in here. I check the space between it and the wall, but there isn't so much as a speck of dust. He must be an obsessive cleaner. I open the doors to the cabinet and peek inside, but there's only a teapot and cans of tea leaves. Fuck. I noticed something stuck between the shelves. We had to... See, this is what I hate about this game. You have to be super precise. You have to be like, oh, it's right here. It's a notebook, bound Japanese style. So that's the one thing we were looking for. This is... I carefully flipped through it. Midway in the journey of our life, I came to myself in a dark wood, for the straight way was lost. This is the Divine Comedy, and I recognize this handwriting. It's Nishizono Yui's. Could this possibly be? Quickly, I flipped through the pages, searching for the 20th kanto. The 3rd, 4th, and 19th have all been torn out. The 20th and 28th, too. Then the fragments found in Takegawa Yumi and Orihime's mouths really were from... Hold on. The maggots planted on the corpse made from Nishizono and Imamura's parts correspond to the 3rd kanto. At Hell's Gate, they were beset by stinging flies and wasps. Koizumi Kei, who was buried with her foot set on fire. The 19th kanto, 8th circle of hell. Bolgia 3, the sin of simony. Takegawa Yumi, who had her head twisted around. The 20th kanto, 8th circle of hell. Bolgia 4, the sin of fortune-telling. Tsukishima Orihime, whose body was cut up. The 28th kanto, 8th circle of hell. Bolgia 9, the sin of bringing about strife. Then, why did he rip out the 4th kanto? Oh no. I don't know the contents of that kanto. In the worst case scenario, there's still one more victim. So that's why he isn't here right now. Damn. I glance around the room's interior. I don't see a telephone. Even if there were one, it'd be foolish to make a call from here. I've got to find a police box or public phone. I rush outside. I've got to contact Ozumi. There's one more victim left. As I draw close to Ogikubo Station, I spy a public telephone. Immediately, I jump inside and call the MPD. Listen, Ozumi. Where the fuck did you wander off to, idiot? Ozumi's bellowing voice leaves my ears ringing. Yeah, I'm sorry, but look, you need to send out an emergency deployment right now. What the hell do you think I've been doing? Get your ass to Ueno on the double. Hey, slow down. What happened? A cold sensation creeps down my spine. Takashiro's wife disappeared. It couldn't be. But she's got nothing to do with Schisma, nor with Kusaka. It couldn't be. Is what happened 6 years ago repeating itself? Oh no. Well, at least we know who's doing it. What do I do? Do I follow Uzumi's instructions and go to Takashiro's place in Ueno? Or do I go and chase after Kusaka? Alright, we don't go to Ueno, we chase after Kusaka. He's the one we're trying to get to. I should leave that up to Uzumi. If Kusaka is the one who abducted Kazuna, then chasing after him will also bring me to her. But where has he gone? I'll head for the academy. Kusaka's desk might still hold some clues. There might be something there that wasn't at his apartment. I catch a taxi in front of Ogikubo Station and ride it to Oba Girls Academy. The academy is shrouded in darkness, but there's a light on in the faculty room. It looks like someone's there for night duty. It couldn't be Kusaka, could it? It turns out to be Vice Principal Seiki, getting some work done. Oh, if it isn't Tokisaka-sensei. Vice Principal Seiki. What a relief. Wait, on second thought, perhaps not. What are you doing around here at this hour? Please show me to Kusaka Tatsuhiko's desk. Kusaka-sensei? Did he do something? Seiki regards me doubtfully. He's of primary interest in the killings. That's... You can't mean... In his shock, Seiki is at a loss for words. I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth. Very well. This is the seat he used. Thank you. Seiki points me to the desk, and I immediately set about rifling through the drawers. If there's the smallest clue here, I rummage around, checking documents, notebook pages, addresses on letters. What are you searching for? Seiki lingers from behind me. It's Kusaka's location. He wasn't in his apartment in Ogikubo. He's got to have another place where he can hide himself. That is, assuming he's the one behind the murders. There must be some place where he's been cutting up the bodies. It'd be impossible in that apartment. So there must be... Come to think of it, he said something about it a while ago. That his parents' home was in Higashi Fushimi, I believe. Seiki speaks up again. Higashi Fushimi? I face him, turning things over in my mind. That's right, Tsukishima Orihime was dumped in Mushashiseki Park, which is next to Higashi Fushimi Station. There's a chance that she was alive for a while at the crime scene. Assuming it's true, there's a good chance that the place where she was cut up is close by. Is that it? Vice Principal Seiki, I'm going to borrow your phone for a minute. Sure, go right ahead. I pick up the receiver and, after a bit of thought, dial the number to Takashiro's office. Ozomi must be on his way over there. This is the Takashiro Detective Agency. He sounds absolutely lifeless. It's me, Takashiro. Is Ozomi over there? Yeah, I'll hand you over to him now. It'll be better if we don't take Takashiro along. It doesn't sound like he'll be of any help at the moment. Kazuna's been abducted. Keeping the possible implications in mind, we can't take a chance by having him with us. Damn it, Reiji, where the hell did you go? Ozumi, it's in Higashi Fushimi. I hastily cut Ozumi off. Higashi Fushimi? Isn't that where we found Tsukishima Orihime? Look around that area for any abandoned homes with the name Kusaka or Nishizono. He's definitely going to be there. Wait a minute, Nishizono? I don't have time to explain. Just move. I'm going over there right now. And about Takashiro. I know. I'll leave him here. Wait for me in front of Higashi Fushimi Station. He hangs up. Now all preparations have been made. Vice Principal Seiki, I'm sorry to have troubled you. No, I don't mind at all. In fact, are you heading over there right now? Yeah. Higashi Fushimi, yes? I'll take you. Seiki gives a nod, showing me his car key. Oh no. It's time. It's time for murders again, gruesome murder time again. Finally the time has come. She's sleeping right in front of me. It was a stroke of luck to acquire such perfect material. I stroke her cheek. She doesn't really look like her. It doesn't matter. There are so many ways I could do this. I gaze at her limbs, pondering. I knew it. They're in the way. You prune away the parts you don't need. I pick up an axe and approach her. She has such beautiful skin. It'll be a suitable substitute. I grip the right leg. Her labia, covered by pubic hair, are spread apart. Oh no. Filth. Holding the thigh in place, I bring the axe down. Oh, come on. Don't tell me this is Kazuna he's cutting up. This isn't supposed to happen. I really hope this isn't, because that would be bad. I'm not sure who this is he's cutting up. I mean, I would assume it might be Kazuna, but I kind of hope it's not. I don't think it is. From what I remember, if you're doing this correctly, she should survive. The right leg falls to the floor. She does not wake up. Naturally, I made sure she was thoroughly drugged. It'd be inconvenient if she woke up and raised a fuss. It's not as though I'm doing this to hear a girl scream. There's still one more thing for me to do.
Although I'm not sure what.
The carousel goes round and round, round and round, round and round. Seiki gives me a ride in his car, and I join up with Ozumi in front of Higashi Fushimi Station. Dawn is breaking as we arrive on the scene. It's Sunday morning. The house bearing the Kusaka nameplate has definitely seen better days. Bingo. Ozumi clenches his cigarette between his teeth. Let's go. Everything we're looking for is probably in here. Ugh! A rotten smell. No, more than that. The building itself is permeated with the stench of death. This is intense. Even Ozumi grimaces, covering his mouth with his hand. The place is a shambles. A thick layer of dust covers the floor. A pair of leather shoes are neatly arranged by the entrance. A number of footprints are visible in the dust. Judging by the shape, they were probably made by the same person, Kusaka. I don't bother taking off my own shoes as I enter. Hey, you guys go around back. If shit hits the fan, don't let him get away. Ozumi barks orders to the officers arrayed behind us. Here we go. I steel myself. That bastard is there, inside this abattoir, the perpetrator of this unprecedented series of homicides. I set off down the hall, my footsteps echoing on the wooden floorboards.
This is awful.
Ozumi lets out a groan as he takes in the room's interior. We found the source of the horrible stench. There's no better word for it. This place is a tomb. Oh man, that's really fucking disgusting. There's a female corpse placed upon the bed. Her eyes are caved in, and maggots are crawling around inside her shredded cheeks. Most of her hair has fallen out, revealing her scalp. The body is in a worse state than the head. I kind of wish I hadn't seen the threads tying the limbs to it. Nishizono Yui, I presume. Ozumi groans again. To be more accurate, it's Nishizono, plus parts from 4 other people. Ugh, that's even more disgusting. I pull Nishizono's photograph from my notebook. She's barely recognizable. Let's search the other rooms. Mumbling to me, Ozumi leaves the room. I guess he's gone off to search for the culprit, but I don't think there's anything else in here, nothing alive at least. I take another look at the corpse. It's missing the right leg. In other words, he has yet to prepare a replacement. A copy of the Egg of Nyannis lies next to her. There's the telltale ripped cover, but under the circumstances, there's little cause for celebration. Reiji, get over here! Ozumi beckons me out of the room. I head into the hall and find him peering into another chamber. There. Kusaka? No. Takashiro's wife. Uh-oh. I shove Ozumi aside and enter the room. Takashiro Kazuna is on the floor, arms and legs bound. Her right leg is still firmly attached. Fuck you, game. Fuck you for that. It's like, her right leg is missing. Her right leg is still there. They knew. The person who wrote this knew. He was trying to troll. He was trying to fucking troll, you piece of shit. It looks like she's been drugged. Yeah, but she's pregnant. We need to get her to a hospital right away. At that moment, I hear a sound from the corridor. What the? I raise my gaze to the door, and there he is. Oh. Now he shows his true colors. I'm actually fucking crazy. Don't get in my way. I've got to punish her. Kusaka advances on us, brandishing a scalpel. Hey! Throw down your weapon! An officer tries to block his way. An instant later, blood gushes from his throat. Holy shit. He's pretty proficient with that blade. I thought I told you not to stop me. Now, time for a punishment! Stop. I tackle Kusaka as he raises the blade aloft. I said don't try to stop me! Pain lances through my left arm. It doesn't matter. I can't let him through. What the fuck have you done? Ozumi slugs Kusaka from the side. Unprepared for the blow, he lets the scalpel slip through his fingers and crouches in the hall. Ozumi closes the distance and pins him to the ground. God damn, he looks fucked up. Give up already, damn it! I said leave me alone! Just one more. Just a little more and my sister, Yui, will come back! Shut up! Ozumi bellows at him as he pulls the handcuffs from his pocket. At that moment, Kusaka gives a mighty heave. Whoa! Ozumi loses his balance. Man, a big guy like him? Kusaka seems like a fucking shrimp in comparison. I don't know how the hell he overpowered him. Kusaka snatches up the fallen scalpel in his left hand. Uzumi! Get away from me! The scalpel slices into the detective's left leg. You should have listened when you had the chance. Your leg won't do for a replacement, but cutting it off is easy enough. Kusaka gives the blade a vicious twist. Come on, just get out of the way. No need to endure this pain. Is that all you've got? Uzumi grabs Kusaka's left hand and wrenches it away. After what you did to all those poor girls, you think a little pain like this is gonna stop me? People like you just piss me off. What do you guys know about Yui? What do you know about me? Pain? Who gives a shit about that? I have to finish that woman before... He thrashes about, screaming. Son of a bitch. Haven't had enough yet? Uzumi raises his fist. Stop it, Uzumi. Reiji, why should I? That's enough. What the hell do you mean enough? I draw closer to Kusaka's prostrate form. Kusaka-sensei, it's about time you set Nishizono-san, set your sister free. What? Kusaka blinks, as if dazed. We've been following this twisted fantasy of yours for too long. All the things you've been doing carry no meaning. You tried to give form to your own delusions, but that's only for your own sake. You are simply running away from reality. What? Are you a shrink now? Cut the crap! Yui needs a body. Nothing else matters. Kusaka continues shrieking at us. It certainly must be nice inside that shell you've built around yourself, huh? A world where everything goes according to your wishes. I understand if you don't want to come out, because there, Nishizono-san is alive. But that's just his deluded world. That's right. Yui's alive, and once I bring back her body... Wake up, Kusaka-san. No matter how much you struggle, you can't bring back a life that's been lost. Shut up! Just a little more. Well then, what does your Yui think of all this? Just her head, with a pieced together body? It's obvious. She's delighted! Well, how's her real body doing? You threw away her arms. Her legs and torso have been disposed of somewhere. Shouldn't she be crying instead? You know, I just met her, and she was crying. You're lying. Yui is... Well then, let's go ask her ourselves. I wink at Uzumi. He pulls Kusaka to his feet. I think he's caught on to my plan. Yui. Back in the other room. Kusaka tries to run to the corpse on the bed. Keep still. Yui. Unable to break Uzumi's restraint, Kusaka stretches out his arms, moaning piteously. Go on. Take a good look. Yui-san's crying. I point to the dead girl. You're lying. Yui, are you sad? Why? I'll finish your body soon. All she desires now is to rest in peace. Now that her body's been completed, she can finally rest. I have completed Yui's body? Now please, let Yui be at peace and accept the truth, so that you can be at peace as well. I walk to Kusaka's side and whisper into his ear. Yui-san's dead. Jesus Christ. Kusaka screams. The air itself seems to tremble. And then he falls to his knees on the floor. My... Yui... Kusaka whispers, staring at the thing on the bed. When Uzumi grabs his arm, he doesn't seem to notice. The detective snaps the handcuffs on him. 07:23 hours. Suspect is in custody. Take him away, and get this wounded guy out of here, now. His instructions given, Uzumi comes close. Reiji, even in the old days, you weren't one to put your body on the line, so don't overdo it. Thanks, man. You saved my ass. I apply pressure to my left elbow as I thank him. Tie a handkerchief or something around the joint. Hurry up and get to the hospital with Takashiro's wife. Uzumi glances at the sleeping Kazuna. I use my right arm and mouth to bind up my wound. Looks like she took a nasty crack on the head. We'd better be careful. I'll go call the paramedic right now. Hey, what about you? As far as I can see, he's in much worse shape than I am. He's probably pretty resilient. Nah, it's just a scratch. I'm built to last, unlike you. Uzumi stands up and leaves. The room falls silent. Takashiro Kazuna's chest rises and falls, ever so slightly. Thank God, she didn't end up joining the other victims. I feel myself relax, and drowsiness settles over me. If an ambulance is coming, they'll probably carry me out, even if I'm asleep. Too much happened today. I'm exhausted. I'll just rest a bit. Yeah, a bit. And then it's the next day. Oh, it is. Oh, I was right. Takashiro Kazuna is immediately admitted to the Kuchiki Pathological Research Institute and given an examination. There's a large bump on her head. She must have been struck when she was kidnapped. That's her only injury, though. Both mother and child are doing fine. They still need to keep an eye on her condition, so she'll be in the hospital for a while. When Hatsune came to visit me, she said that Takashiro was constantly by her side. My injuries, on the other hand, turned out to be quite severe. The weapon that Kusaka used was a scalpel which had been left in that run-down house. It was perfectly serviceable for cutting up corpses, but a living, breathing human being like myself was another story. According to the doctor who treated me, the wound was infested with bacteria and microorganisms. Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised he used it to cut up corpses. It's suppurated and had to be disinfected over and over. Had the scalpel been cleaned, the wound would have healed on its own. Instead, it was an utter mess, requiring more than 10 stitches. Hey, Reggie. So you were here too. Uzumi shows up just then. Looking at him walking around, you'd never guess that his wound is deeper than mine. Hey, your leg. Huh? That little scratch is all healed up. You gotta be kidding me. That's one hell of a tough constitution. So, how's the investigation into Kusaka going? Oh, that. The superintendent's doing it at the moment. Ozumi puts a cigarette into his mouth. This is a non-smoking area, man. They just stopped me earlier. Huh. He gives an annoyed snort and shoves it into his pocket. The officer that Kusaka cut first somehow turned out okay too, but that doesn't make his crimes any less grave. How the hell does he turn out okay? I thought he fucking killed him. Homicide, defilement of corpses, and illegal disposal thereof, kidnapping, confinement, and assault. Tag on obstruction of public duties, and how many years are we talking? Pretty much life, I would guess. Beats me. It's not our job to decide his prison term. Maybe he'll just plead insanity. I don't think we're at that point in time yet where you can just plead insanity and be okay, though. The prosecution will probably seek the death penalty at his trial. That's likely too. Anyway, I've come here to ask some questions to Takashiro Kazuna. You want to come too, Reiji? Nah, it'll be a hassle if a bunch of people are in her room at the same time, so I'll pass. What's this? Since when are you nervous around the ladies? What the hell is that all of a sudden? This is for work. For work! Then why are you acting like you're around Kyoko? Ouch! Watch it! I just got stitched up. Then don't go running your mouth off, idiot! Flecks of saliva fly as he roars at me. Shoulders spread and face as red as a tomato. Ugh. That bastard, punching me without thinking. Who's the real idiot here? As I writhe in pain so intense that I can't speak, a calm corner of my mind uselessly muses that they're probably still taking outpatients. It's kind of funny that he likes Kyoko, but Reiji is the one that kind of... Well, it's not really much of a spoiler, but Reiji and Kyoko kind of become fuck buddies. They are kind of like that in this game, too, if you go down her route. But in the second game, that's kind of part of the main plot that they're fuck buddies. 2 days later, word comes that the autopsy reports are finished. I decide to pay Natsume-san a visit. Welcome, Tokisaka-san. Natsume-san is leisurely smoking a cigarette. I heard the autopsy was done. Yep, it's done. It's a female corpse, but... As she says that, Natsume-san picks up her documents. Head Nishizono Yui, torso Imamura Haruka, right arm Koizumi Kei, left arm Takagawa Yumi, left leg Tsukishima Orihime. He didn't manage to get the right leg in time. Good thing for that. Her tone is all business. The police search netted both of Imamura Haruka's arms buried in the yard. Her torso and legs were inside the refrigerator, but it seems they've decomposed. Natsume-san purses her lips. The refrigerator isn't one of those state-of-the-art models. You have to put ice in. He definitely didn't call an iceman over to restock it. He wanted to carefully preserve his sister, huh? You won't know until you ask the man himself. How's that going, Uzumi-san? Natsume-san calls out to Uzumi as he walks in the door. Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Kusaka, found anything out yet? Oh, right. We've gotten quite a bit. It's true that he and Nishizono Yui were siblings. I got that testimony from their father. The father's still around? He works in a regional hospital, and it seems that he never went back home. Even so, he had a lot of drugs stored there, and we're investigating whether he was in compliance with pharmaceutical affairs and narcotics control. Uzumi tosses a large envelope at me. All the details are written in there. He's still pretty unhinged, so I doubt we're getting the real motive out of him anytime soon. His mind is probably broken. The expression Kusaka wore as he wielded that scalpel, that wasn't the face of an ordinary person. I don't know how, I guess he's just really good at pretending to be sane, because he seemed pretty fucking normal when he was at school. So it's like you'd never guess it was actually him. It was the face of a man gripped by madness. A pathetic criminal who couldn't become the Black Madonna. In the end, he was the one who broke the black egg, with his own hands. It seems that Dr. Saito is treating Kusaka at the Kuchiki Pathological Research Institute. I see. Saito is also Kusaka's personal physician, so there shouldn't be any problems with leaving it up to him. Well, since the case is closed, how about celebrating over dinner? Giblet stew, anyone? Natsume-san, I don't really know how I feel about that. Yeah, spoiler alert. Case isn't really closed. It's not over yet. I won't say why, though. March 24th. I stand quietly in the corner of Oba Girls Academy's chapel. The students are lined up in silence, motionlessly listening to Vice Principal Seiki's speech up on the pulpit. The closing ceremony, and a memorial service for Tsukishima Orihime, Nishizono Yui, and Imamura Haruka. Silence. Even though that's one of the trademarks of this school, it's unnerving to hear no sobbing at all. There are a few people missing here and there, from the rows of students, from the rows of teachers, everywhere. Well, that's definitely weird. This whole school is fucking weird. Nobody acts like a person, they're all just robots. After the ceremony has ended, I sit in the history prep room, staring up at the ceiling. Just the latest in a series of goodbyes. My job here is done. I can't exactly call it a success. The subjects of my search are dead, and other victims besides. To top it off, nearly all of them were from right here at the academy. Well, I did save one person, not to mention a life that hasn't been born yet. Ah, Tokisaka-sensei. So this is where you were. Seiki enters the room. I had left the door open. Vice Principal Seiki, is something wrong? I stand up and offer him my chair. He waves it off and opens his mouth to speak. I came here to thank you for your assistance in this matter. Don't. In the end, I wasn't able to do anything. That's not true. Didn't you solve the case? But... Yes, but that won't bring Tsukishima Orihime back. Tsukishima-san's death is not your fault. Seiki lays a hand upon my shoulder. You have my deepest gratitude for what you've done. This is a trifling amount, but please, accept it. He holds out an envelope. I can't accept this. There's no way I could accept a reward after all that. Well, think of it this way then. This is your payment for carrying out lectures. Is that better? But, please, take it. At the very least, you did that job. I'm sorry. I see. Seiki finally appears to have given up. If anything ever comes up again, I trail off before I can finish. He wouldn't call for me unless something serious happened. Of course, if anything else should arise, I'll definitely be counting on you. Seiki regards me with a hint of a smile on his face. Still, I find myself wondering if Kusaka-sensei really had to take the path he chose. Seiki mutters, half to himself. He was a very diligent teacher. He cared deeply for his students. Well, that's how it appeared to me. That's how it appeared to me, at least. I'm sure he was a diligent person. It's because of that diligence that his paranoia gnawed at him so. He killed his sister Yui, by accident probably, but then became obsessed with restoring her body. How the hell did he kill her by accident? I don't know why he even, did he kill her just because she was ignoring him and I don't know. I'm not really sure what exactly his motive was. I know what his motive was for killing the other girls, but not so much why he killed his sister. He probably used to be a nice guy, huh? Well, he was when he was a teacher, or when he pretended to be. Indeed, I only wish I had noticed how much he was suffering. I have no words of comfort to offer him. Just as I finished clearing out my things, Sato Ayamu comes to see me. Tokisaka-sensei? What's wrong? Yui's grave. Do you know where it is? Yeah. Please take me there. I still haven't said goodbye to her yet. Ayamu looks firmly in my eyes. Alright, follow me. I lead her toward the cemetery. Yui never told me anything. Sometimes being best friends can make it harder to talk about things. We talk on our way to the cemetery. But I wish she'd come to me for advice. She doesn't know the details. The school merely announced that she had been involved in an incident and murdered. She doesn't need to know. It's over here. I show Ayamu over, and then halt in my tracks. Oh! Mori Yoritsuki-kun, right? Hello. Yoritsuki bows and passes us by, carrying a bucket and cup in his hands. Who is he? Nishizono-san met with him often. He took pictures of her. So he's the one. Ayamu stares at Yoritsuki's retreating profile. She wrote about him in her letters. She said she'd met a funny guy. Really. At the very least, it looks like Nishizono didn't hate him. Over here, Nishizono's grave had been cleansed. It's spotless. Smoke still rising from the incense. Yoritsuki must have just left it here. Yui. Ayamu crouches down and puts her hands together. I look on in silence. Nishizono's corpse was dismembered. It was also stitched together with other corpses. After the judicial autopsy, she was put back together and then cremated. It's been months, but she can finally rest in peace. I also close my eyes and put my hands together. For a split second, the memory of burying a headless Yukiko slips into my mind. Ugh. Please don't go back to that. As the day passed into evening, Ayamu headed home. Giving me a lonely-looking smile, she said that she'd try her best to visit from now on, since she lived nearby. Well, I guess it's time for me to go home too. But when I turn around, I see someone I don't expect. Why are you here? I've been behind you guys ever since you left the academy, but you never noticed. God damn, she stalks you all the time. Toko pouts just a little. Were you enthralled in conversation with Sato-san? That wasn't it, really. I guess not. Toko gives an easy nod, crouches down in front of Nishizono Yui's grave, and puts her hands together. She was my kohai in the art club. After muttering that softly, she stands up. Well, let's head back, Tokisaka-sensei. I'm not a teacher anymore. My job there is finished. Really? Toko peers into my face. You know, that means I'm going to be lonely. What the heck are you talking about? I lay a hand atop Toko's head. It's not like I'm going anywhere far away. We can see each other anytime. Is it alright if I come to see you then? Yeah, I don't mind. To be honest, I did like the relationship between these two, even if it is kind of creepy because she's probably underage. Really? And Tokisaka-san, you're my... You're what? I'm a bit confused by her abrupt silence. I'll keep it a secret for now. Are you kidding me? He's like fucking 30 years old. Like, I have to point out the age difference again because it is really fucking weird. Because he's like 30 and she's maybe 17, 16. Maybe I'm being generous by saying she's 17. I don't know. Well, I guess partner will do. Hey now, if we're partners, then just what in the world are we doing? Together? Well, fuck buddies would be more appropriate, I suppose. Well, isn't it obvious? I'm pretty good at tailing people, you know. Toko laughs, her voice like the clear chiming of a bell.